Hello, and welcome to another one of these podcast type videos. I don't know if it's right to call this really a podcast, but just me talking into a mic about a topic that I wanted to talk about. Uh, which the last time I did this, I think the last time I did a podcast type video actually was back when I did the Q&A with Kyle A. Bear. So that was pretty cool. But before that, one that wasn't Q&A based was I think the only one actually, the comparison of Scorpion's Revenge and the Mortal Kombat 2021 movie, which here we go talking about Warner Brothers again because oh boy, I've been asked in private about my thoughts on MultiVersus, especially now with the shutdown that was just announced. Um, as well as some other stuff that I might bring up, like Mortal Kombat 1 was another thing that I was asked about a few times with a few different topics. So I thought, you know what, might as well just do a podcast type video just talking about my thoughts, just getting them all out there, non-scripted. Um, and again, I might talk about some other stuff because when it comes to MultiVersus, I'm going to be talking about how disappointing it was and how it really flopped. So talk about some other things that are doing some less favorable things, or maybe just flat out underperforming, or doing something that just makes me want to face palm. But yes, main topic is MultiVersus, which I have talked about quite a bit. I've made quite a few videos on MultiVersus, less so talking about the game overall and more so just playing it, because in terms of talking about it, that's what I did in, I think I had a stream where I talked about MultiVersus back before we even had the first launch of it, because if you don't remember, there was back in 2022 was when it was announced, I believe, as well as that's when they had their beta, or beta in quotation marks. Again, how much of a beta it was, I don't know, because what we ended up getting instead was or what we ended up getting later on down the road. But yes, in 2022, we got the announcement. They were talking about the game, how obviously it was going to be having this kind of 2v2 focus, which I thought was actually pretty neat. It would make playing online something a bit interesting, something to spice it up. Uh, I'm honestly not someone who really enjoys playing online when it comes to multiplayer games or online based games, which I know sounds kind of weird because it's like that's what a lot of people want. I don't know, I just prefer a single player experience instead of, having to deal with going online and then having poor connections or poor matchups, poor teammates, poor opponents, or opponents that just outclass me. It's just it just makes things a bit frustrating because you've got that reliance on other people and another thing to keep the game going, that being the online connection, the online functionality. But again, that's just me. I'm much more of a single player guy, so even when it comes to games that have a multiplayer focus, I still mostly just do the single player stuff. Um, which is actually different with MultiVersus because there wasn't any single player stuff, so the only option there initially was playing online, um, which I'd say was fine. I did enjoy the online experience of MultiVersus because the way it was made wasn't to be this crazy try hard game. It was much more of a casual experience, and I think that was backed up by the 2v2 focus. And that's something that I praise them for. That's something that I think, hey, that was actually pretty smart. That worked out very well in their favor and made this a game that was fun to go back for, or to go back to, even for someone like me. And of course, it was something that piqued my interest because, hey, it's a Smash Bros. Style game. I love Smash Bros. Also a crossover. I love crossovers. And it's with Warner Brothers characters, which they have a shit ton of awesome franchises under their belt. Ton of cool characters. And, I mean, it was just something that's... I was like, hey, this is something that's I'm kind of interested in. Much like I was with Nick All-Stars. That was another thing that I was like, you know what? I like the concept. I just hope it's actually going to be good. Don't know if it actually will be. I had the same kind of thought with MultiVersus, but again, still trying to be optimistic. The free-to-play aspect also was something that's was pretty exciting, as that would get a lot of different people playing because it's free to play. You don't have to go through any paywall. It's just, hey, here's the game. If you want to play it, go ahead, just download it. Anybody, just go ahead, have a blast. And I thought this was hopefully going to be something that would really do something well with that free to play style, but as we've seen with other things that tried to go free to play, they don't always work out because at the end of the day, the people making it still want to find a way to make money off of it. So yeah, but we'll get into all that later. I didn't really find that to be much of a problem back in 2022, mostly because with that stuff it was just skins that you'd have to get, or that you could get optional stuff, which is like, okay, that's cool. Kind of a bummer that it's all behind a paywall, but at the end of the day, it's just skins. It's not the end of the world. And you could also buy characters, but you could also earn them through getting the currency, which I think back then, to get the currency, all you had to do was just play the game, play matches, and you would keep getting more currency. So that made unlocking characters still a grind, but not terrible. And yeah, I'd say that overall it was a pretty good launch. It was a pretty good beta. And from what I recall, there was the beta in which they gave codes to certain people, in which I remember I made some videos and streams where I was playing other games. I was playing Melee, I was playing Nick All-Stars, and then I was playing Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion. And I was like, yep, here I am playing these because I didn't get the early access to MultiVersus. And then funny enough, while I go to record the Nick All-Stars one, I check my email and, oh, now I have a code. Okay. I forget if I had to do anything for that. I think I did. Like, you had to request that. I can't remember, honestly. But I did end up getting that and playing that. And then from what I recall, that was for a set window of time. And then after that, they did a temporary shutdown and then rolled out the update, which was the game getting out of beta and then being available to anyone to just download on Steam or on whatever game front you were playing or whatever console you were playing. And I'm pretty sure when they did that, it also reset everyone. So everything that you unlocked was just back to being locked. And that really pissed a lot of people off, me included. But I mean, there were still more characters there, more characters that were added that I could play with and use to go back to the grind and unlock everything. You know, play with these characters in the process of also re-unlocking everything and unlocking stuff afterwards. And I think with that, all they did was they touched up some stuff with the gameplay, the netcode, and of course the new characters and whatnot. I forget if there was the season pass stuff that they had in the most recent MultiVersus launch. I don't think there was. I don't think so. I think that was basically just the game getting out of that little beta window. And again, it was fun. They would also occasionally roll out some more characters. Yeah, I think that's when they did Iron Giants. They did. Oh God, I just remembered. One of the characters that they did was LeBron James, aka Mr. Ain't No Party Like a Diddy Party. Yeah, he's in this game. That aged phenomenal. Great job, guys. Who else? There was Rick and Morty. I forget who the last character was that I played with or that launched while I was still playing the game, because I think once they showed off Black Adam, I was like, okay, I'm not interested in Black Adam. He's not compelling me to boot up the game again and unlock shit. And same thing with the Gremlins characters. I was like, okay, I don't care. That was around when I stopped playing. Because again, the new characters that they were coming out with, I just didn't care for those ones. And then all of a sudden, hey, we got to shut down the whole game. We got to shut down all the servers because we got to figure some shit out. We got to figure out a more stable connection so that people can actually get through matches without any issues. And also on the business front, they had to figure out some more stuff to help them monetize it, because hey, wow, we've got a huge amount of players that we were not expecting. Now we need to find a way to get in their pockets, which sounds very scummy, and that's because it is very scummy. It's not funny. But how long was it down for? I want to say it was down for over a year. I forget what the last bit of content was for MultiVersus before that shutdown. All I remember is how funny the timeline was, that there was Nick All-Stars 1, that comes out. Then there's also MultiVersus, or a Warner Brothers Smash Bros. Here it is, MultiVersus. Get to play that now. That shuts down. Nick All-Stars 2 is now a thing that's coming out. That comes out. Then after that, guess what? MultiVersus is coming back. They just alternate. So I'm guessing what we can expect to see from the future with that as a precedent. We're gonna see Nick All-Stars 3 after MultiVersus shut down. Shut down. After MultiVersus shuts down. And then after that launches and is out for like a few months, and everyone just forgets about it because it's not worth your time, they'll announce, hey, guess what? We're bringing MultiVersus back again. That would be, if they do that, I hope they get the hate that they deserve, the backlash that they deserve for that. Because now it's time to talk about MultiVersus 2024. So, with that, we got MultiVersus, the announcement that, hey, it's coming back. What to expect? Expect some more single-player stuff. Oh, wait, that reminds me. They sent players. I don't know if this was for the early access or if it was just for anyone who played. They sent us a survey in which they asked, what are some things that you'd like to see while MultiVersus is getting support or under maintenance. And of course, I said single player stuff because that was one of the things. Another thing on there was what would you be willing to pay for? And they're showing stuff like emotes and all this shit. I'm like, I mean, skins. Again, I think what you had with that was fine. Still pretty shitty and pretty overly priced, but overall, that's probably the best thing you could do for a free-to-play monetization type thing is you guys want skins? These are the things that you'll have to pay for. If there's a character you really like, feel free to buy their skins. If they were priced better, because I'm pretty sure the average skin was $10. If you were to buy the in-game currency enough to buy one skin, it would be around $10 for a skin, which is just ugh. Are you kidding me? Wait, hang on a second. I'm gonna look something up real fast. I want to see. All right, I'm just gonna go on Steam, see what's a good game that I could get for $10 instead of. Oh, there's a sale going on right now, so I don't know if this is gonna impact that. Capcom. You know what? Capcom showed up on here. Let me look up Okami, because. Well, actually, that's pretty perfect how the sale is going on. So, you could spend $10 in MultiVersus to buy one skin, or you could use that same $10 instead to buy Okami when it's on sale. And Capcom often does have their games on sale. What would you rather do? Buy a freaking amazing, beautiful game that's a ton of fun. I haven't finished it, but I want to finish it because it's super cool. Or you want to buy just one skin. One single skin in MultiVersus. What do you think is worth your money? What do you think is the better investment there? So yeah, they shot themselves in the foot with that. Let me close out of this. Okay, I'm back. Oh, that was fun. I mean, if they said $10 for a bundle of skins, or $10 for all of this character's skins that were released within a certain window, maybe that would be better. But this is Warner Brothers we're talking about with their DLCs, their added purchases. Because we all remember that Mortal Kombat 1 with their holiday fatalities. What wasn't it? $15 for a holiday fatality, and then they got so much backlash that it's like, oh wait, yeah, maybe we should fix that. I forget what they did with that. Didn't they make it so that unlocks all of the holiday fatalities, or did they just? I don't remember what they did. I feel like that's correct. I don't know. I never bothered with that. But yes, where was I? Yeah, and they were talking about some other stuff like emotes and banners, and it's like, I mean, maybe if you're the type of person that just wants to get those to flex and be like, ha, I gave this company way too much money just to look Like someone to stand out just for a banner, just for an emote, which okay, thanks for flashing your receipt. I don't know what that's supposed to do for you and your ego. Um, but yes, back on topic with the the official release, which we thought was the one after the exclusive beta, but nope, it was apparently exclusive beta, then public beta, then actual release. Like, okay, sure, whatever. Hopefully, it's good. And I remember when they did bring back MultiVersus back in it was May of 2024. When they did that, uh, there was already some backlash with them because they were saying that the game felt slower, and honestly, I didn't really notice that. Yeah, the game is pretty floaty and a bit slow, but I don't think it's that bad. I mean, you could get used to it and still do some cool stuff, and it works with the wacky 2v2 playstyle of that. It can make some of the single player stuff a bit weird, like when you're doing the when they added the break the targets, that can make that kind of odd. Um, but I feel like in normal gameplay, it's not something that really harms it all that much. Yeah, you'll see that you're only doing like 3 moves in the span of 5 seconds, but I didn't find it to be a problem. You could still do some cool stuff with that floaty nature. It worked for what the game was going for. Uh, but again, that's just me. It seemed like the majority of people felt otherwise, which, uh, yeah, what can I say? That's just how other people feel. Um, but again, it didn't distract from me. I was still having fun with that. When they did announce that there was single player stuff, I was like, awesome! Yes, I get to explore more with this game, do some more stuff with these characters and their movesets. And I thought overall the single player stuff was pretty cool. They had a I don't know how to describe it. Kind of like an arcade mode style thing where, although it was all predetermined fights, where it's like, hey, you have to do. We got this, I guess, map, but more so a list of fights to do, and I thought it was pretty fun. They also had their own individual challenges, like win this match as the Joker, get this many special moves, or hit this many special moves. And overall, I had fun with that. What was that called? Was that the Rifts mode? I want to say that was the Rifts mode. Some other things that they did. I wasn't sure what the hell they were doing with the online and how that was working. I liked before how there was when you get into a match and a party, you're encouraged to stay for a best of 3. But with this one, it's just keep playing until you say, okay, time to quit out. Which is cool for keeping a party, but you could also, back then, keep your teammate or form a party with your teammate, I guess, and keep fighting together. And I did that a few times with some strangers, and I was like, hey, yeah, that's cool. It was a lot of fun to do that. But what I recall from that is that you couldn't change your... No, wait, you could change your character. No, wait. You could change your character while you're still in a party or a best of in back in 2022, but when they relaunched in 2024, it was dependent on what character you had already selected on the home menu. So, yeah, when it relaunched, you didn't have that option to change your character. That is so stupid. I forgot about that. Wow. What the hell were they thinking? So, yeah, that was, I think that's one of the dumbest decisions they could have made. Yeah, this is what we're gonna change. Why? That's one where I have to say, okay, no, that was a poor decision. That was a change you should not have bothered with. What the hell? Um, and interestingly enough, with the system of you're just gonna keep fighting the same people or in the same group until someone eventually quits out. Uh, One, that meant that a lot of you would see a lot more one and done matches because again, otherwise you'd have to play as the same character over and over and over and over and over again. Or you would get some matches where you end up fighting bots and none of them quit out. So instead, you're fighting and you're going on and you're like, okay, wow, I won 10 in a row and this person still wants to fight. Okay, go again. Oh, 20 in a row and this person still wants to fight. Okay, there we go. 30 wins in a row and okay, this is not a real person. This is a bot. What am I doing? Grinding, I guess. Yeah, that's I can at least level them up, level whatever character I'm playing as, and get their upgrades, their perks or whatever they added. But other than that, it's also very stale. Fun for labbing. Maybe they should have had that as a do this if you want to grind and lab, not hey, here's the illusion of you're fighting someone. Oh wait, you're not. It's just a bot. Enjoy getting as many wins as you want now. That was very strange. Very, very strange. That happened to me a few times. I was perplexed each time. One of them was in a 2v2. So I don't know if everyone in there was a bot except for me. I don't know if it was just me and my partner. I don't know what the hell was going on with that. But yeah, that was one where it was 14 wins, 0 losses because it's just against stupid bots. I also ended up doing a lot more 1v1s when it came to the relaunch because I felt like there were more problems when they relaunched with 2v2. They also added the free-for-all mode, which was kind of broken, but could still be fun. Could also be very annoying. Because the way that worked, it was whoever's the first one to get 4 kills wins. And with that in mind, if someone had the lead, you would just get hit by someone who's not in the lead and then kill yourself. And then that would make it so you're not at the disadvantage where you're easy to kill by the person with the lead. And you gave the point to someone who's already not in the lead. So yeah, that was not exactly the most balanced game mode, but it was still fun. I had fun with that one. Yeah, I forget if it was just because I was not having fun fighting people in 2v2s or if there were connection issues. I feel like it was actually a mix of both from what I can recall. But yeah, I ended up doing more 1v1s, which is kind of interesting because there are quite a few characters in MultiVersus who have movesets that were specifically designed, or maybe not full movesets, but definitely a good chunk of their movesets designed with the 2v2 in mind. So you had some stuff that was specifically made to also aid your partner. So, bring that over to the 1v1 games was a bit strange. Didn't really work out all that well. But still, somehow, 1v1 ended up being more fun than 2v2 when initially I felt it was the other way around. So yeah, I don't know how they managed that, but that's something. Um, and they also had, I think later on in season 2, I want to say, they introduced ranked, which I I didn't really understand how that worked with the ranks, but I mean it was something that you were forced to do for some of the seasonal missions if you wanted to grind your way up to completing all that and getting all the seasonal goodies, all the things that they had in there, which was stuff like fighter currency, um, the currency that you could use to buy skins, um, and the as well as some skins themselves that were just littered throughout the pass. And overall, the daily challenges, I thought those were uh, not too bad. I didn't like the ones that force you to play online because, yeah, again, not everyone's gonna like playing online, but they still had those all the time, and it was very annoying. Um, and yeah, that's also annoying because it's something that demands your attention. Um, from what I experienced, though, it wasn't too bad. It was basically just if you play for 30 minutes a day, you can get everything that you need uh, from the daily challenges, and after that, just call it a day. So that I didn't find too bad, but still, that is very demanding. That you got to play this every day if you want to keep getting these rewards, and then work your way to completing the seasonal pass, getting all the rewards from that. Um, I think now is the time to talk about what really pulled me away from the game, and that was how poorly they handled Season 2 of the 2024 relaunch. Initially, it seemed like it was going to be pretty good. I mean, uh, Season 1 I found a lot of fun. It was fun to go back to. Fun to do all the new single player stuff that they worked in there. And now with Season 2, we're getting Samurai Jack as a new character. That's awesome. Rumors are saying that Beetlejuice is coming in. Okay, I could see that potentially being fun. It's obviously just because of the Beetlejuice 2 coming out. I know it's not called Beetlejuice 2, but its actual name is Dumb. Then again, the whole movie was dumb, so. But yeah, I was like, hey, hopefully it'll be fun. Hopefully it'll be just like Season 1, but with a cool new face, and I'll have a blast. Right off the bat, to get Samurai Jack, I think they had him behind a paywall, essentially. I remember the storefront currency. You could, yeah, you were able to earn that through the first season pass. It was sprinkled about like, oh, once you get to this level, you get 100 currency. Then later on, you work your way up to this level, you get 200. Um, and so I had a bit of a stockpile, and I was like, great, I could use this to maybe buy a new character sometime down the line, or a new skin if I really want a skin. And I couldn't do that because the first part of the season pass was Samurai Jack, and it said, if you want to get this one, you have to spend shop currency. And it's like, I'm sorry, what? The first reward of the the season pass, and it's something that's locked behind a paywall? This is the thing that's supposed to be, you just go through and you earn this shit. You earn this by playing the game, not by paying for it with the currency that you are already working really hard to get without having to spend any money. You're instead spending time. So that was something that's already bothered me. And then we got the rift missions, the rift battles, in which if you wanted to get all the rewards, you had to do all the individual match challenges, or because they had this thing where each one had like 5 points, and you got those points. You got 1 for sure for beating them, and then 4 more for beating them with their individual challenges. And some of them said that you could only play as certain characters, which is okay. That's fine, except when, those characters are locked, or those characters are only able to play if you have a certain skin with them, which they really leaned into that with Season 2. There were a ton of fights that you couldn't do, and a ton of points that you just couldn't get because they were all beat this match with a special costume. I can remember there was the beach costumes where it was characters in swimsuits, the cyber costumes where it was characters in kind of techno outfits. These are all just made up bullshit, by the way. These aren't actually pulled from any sources. Maybe like a handful of them were, but I know for sure this third one wasn't. Characters cosplaying as Beetlejuice when we're already gonna have Beetlejuice as a playable character. So what the hell's the point? There was one that was just no, I think that was the cyber. No, wait. There was 2 cyber things. There was one where it actually gave characters some different outfits that looked terrible. I think Morty had a cool outfit from that with a cool jacket. But yeah, let's have freaking leather jacket Tom and Jerry with mohawks, or e-girl Harley Quinn, or I guess Harley Quinn looking even more like an e-girl. I guess, I don't know. And then the rest of the characters just got these awful bluish purple recolors from that. And it was like, what? Why would anyone want to buy these? Oh, I see why people would want to buy these, because these are the only way you're going to be able to 100% these rifts. Oh my, just thinking about it pisses me off with this super scummy thing that they did. And even when they were like, hey, there are some bonus challenges they can do to unlock special currency that's only for these special items. 'Cause they had some temporary storefronts where you had those gimmick costumes, I'll call them, because they're only there for the sake of exploiting people to pay for them so they can 100% the rifts, all the challenges that require those specific skins to even participate. And I recall that in there they also had you could buy, I forget if it was fighter tickets, so you could buy fighters. Some of them actually had fighters that you could buy with the temporary store's specific currency. And I thought, you know what? I like that. You work your way for these extra challenges in this temporary store that's here for like a good few months. I want to say that all the stores were there for at least 1 month. I think at most 2. So that I found fine and acceptable, especially because again, it gives you a good window, and with that you could use that to buy some characters that you were missing. And I actually did utilize that to get some of the characters. And then there was one store where they had they had another chain of currency, where to get the currency specific for this temporary store or temporary shop, you could buy them with this temporary shop's currency, the Cybucks, I think they called it, because it was the cyber event. And those you would unlock just by playing the game. You would earn Cybucks, and for a super high price, you could buy the currency for one of the stores. And I was going to do that to buy the rest of the characters that I didn't have that were available to purchase in that store. So, you know, unlocking more characters without having to break the bank, or break the real bank, instead just utilizing what the game gives you just for playing. And guess what? I earned a good stockpile. I was buying a few of those the tokens. They were those stores use tokens. Like I was buying a few tokens, and then it said no more tokens. Like, what? Nowhere on here did you say that there was a limit. Now all of a sudden you're just saying, oh, you worked so hard to earn enough currency to be able to maximize and get this stuff? No, you're not getting this. You're limited to only, I think I was only able to get 3 tokens. But when I did that, I only got 2 because I had to spend 1 on a shitty costume because I wanted to try and 100% some of the rifts. And that made me even more furious because now I had lost the opportunity to buy another character because the game wanted me to specifically use one of these shitty skins just for the sake of completing the rift and 100%ing that, getting all the rewards from that. Which in the end, those rewards did not equate to a character. So it was all just a freaking scam. I will say it right now. The way that was scummy. I view it as a scam. You're encouraged to 100% it to get rewards. Okay. The way that you get it, oh, it's locked behind a skin that you'll have to unlock either by using one of the special seasonal tokens or by outright paying for it. So now you have the choice of use these tokens to buy something more valuable like a fighter, or use them to buy one of these skins that you are never going to use outside of the rifts, outside of these specific matches, these specific battles that require you use these specific skins. And if I was able to still buy enough tokens to buy all the characters that I wanted, that would be less of an issue. But nope, all of a sudden, nowhere was it mentioned there's a limit. So you just wasted one of those to get a terrible skin when you could have used it in something that you actually have more of a desire for. Had I known that there was that limit, I wouldn't have done that. I would have saved that for characters. But that information was withheld from me. That's what really, really pissed me off and made me say, you know what? Screw this. This is not worth my time. This is not worth anyone's time or money. This is scummy. This is predatory. It flat out is predatory. It does everything it can to give you this illusion that, yeah, putting in the time, the hard work, sure, it's going to be a lot of time before you see results, but hey, maybe if I just keep going at it, things will be great. No. It's designed to give you that false sense that you can earn this shit without having to pay. But at the end of the day, it's either put in a ton of time or have to deal with a bunch of stupid loopholes and other bullshit to try and get everything that you want without having to pay, or bite the bullet and give us your money. So, I know that a lot of people, right when the game first came out, back in 2022, they were talking about how, yeah, this is greedy. I didn't really see it that much because, again, there was nothing that really forced you to do any of that. It was all just optional stuff. But when it comes to doing things that are completion based and stuff to get other rewards, and you're hiding that behind paywalls, whether it be flat out paywalls or paywalls with these other options that seem like they'll help you avoid them, but they don't really in the long run. Yeah, that's what helped me see that, okay, yes, this is just a freaking greedy mess. So I finished season 2 and I was done with it. I didn't even bother with any season after that. And it's so strange because when the game did relaunch, I made a video. I believe I called it MultiVersus is Back from the Dead, or Finally Back from the Dead, one of those. And I was playing it, and you can tell that I was excited. I was enjoying myself. That was back with season 1. And I did nothing with that afterwards. So that could have given the idea that I was still enjoying it, that that's what my thoughts still were. But in reality, I was playing it with season 2 and getting increasingly frustrated with it to the point where I then said, screw this, I'm out. So, the full 180 went from enjoying the hell out of it and being excited for it to, I would say, hating it. I think that, yeah, it is appropriate for me to say that I do hate MultiVersus and what they did with it. And I think that it's a game that does deserve that hate. And it's a shitty thing to say. I mean, who wants to hate something, especially something that's they did in the past really enjoy? Like I said, I was at first I was cautiously optimistic, as I am with anything like that, where it's, oh hey, it's Smash Bros, but with blank crossover characters. Cartoon Network did that. That wasn't great. Nickelodeon did that. That wasn't great. Warner Brothers is doing it. It's probably not going to be great, but let's have hope. At first, yeah, I'd say that the hope paid off, and it was enjoyable. It wasn't perfect. Could have used a lot of improvements, but it was enjoyable. Then it shut down, came back, and then ruined itself, ruined its own reputation. Yeah, I've even seen a few videos where other people were talking, giving their thoughts on the shutdown of MultiVersus, and they were saying that, yeah, a lot of the same stuff, that it sucks that this game failed, and that obviously we wish that it could have been better. But I was also sitting there like, I'm at the point where I'm just waiting for this to die out, because it will. I'm surprised that it took this long for it to die, cause yeah, considering how bad season 2 was, I don't know how well season 3 went, but after that I can't imagine it did all that well. So maybe that's when they started seeing everything going downhill, but they already at that point had the season 4 stuff in the works, and they were like, oh shit, this is failing. Season 4, and then they realized, yeah, no, there's no saving this. Just roll out everything else that we have. Got enough for a season 5. All right, that's gonna be our last season then. Gonna hope that we can get as much money as possible between now and the shutdown with what we can muster up for season 5. So yeah, I feel like that's how it went down. But even then, I'm still sitting here like, wow, this should have shut down 2 seasons ago. Season 3 should have been the end. Like, I get it that during the shitty season 2, they were still working on and getting season 3 ready for post season 2. But yeah, to end up being 5 seasons, hey, you did better than I thought. I don't know if that's saying much considering where you are now, but there you go. Yeah, I mean, it came back late May of 2024, and it's shutting down late May of 2025. After being shut down for over a year, it only lasted 1. It didn't even last 1 before they knew they had to shut it down. That's just textbook failure. I've also heard a few things. I don't know how true these are. I have not been keeping up with this stuff. That the director of the game was not the best when it came to actually making decisions that would keep this game alive. Like when it came to things like the balancing, getting input from the other devs. Now, again, these are all, to my knowledge, rumors. I don't know how true these are, but if that's the case, then yeah, makes me again say this should have ended a lot sooner. I almost wonder if it would have been better if MultiVersus just never came back. And yeah, that's sad to say. I mean, I did have fun with it when it came back. I had fun with the new characters. They had a lot of cool ones. They had the Joker, Jason Voorhees, Agent Smith, Samurai Jack. I wasn't too big on Beetlejuice, but he was cool at least, I guess. Um, but yeah, seeing where it ended up and how it ended up burning down, I almost think it would have been better if it just stayed dead after after the quote unquote beta shut down. And there's no coming back from this. If they try and come back from this with MultiVersus is relaunching, I don't think they're gonna get anywhere near what they got with the game initially or when it relaunched in 2024. I think they just shot themselves in the foot, and the legacy of this game has forever been tarnished. If they try making a MultiVersus 2, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of the same with how I saw Nick All Stars, where with that I was like, okay, the first game wasn't all that great. Is this gonna be better? Is this something that I can actually look forward to? Is it something that I can look forward to? Although with that, I do admit that I was already not too optimistic with that, because it was not even a year after the last bit of content for Nick 1 that they're like, okay, Nick 2. And it's like, oh, guys, take some time and really, really work on this. Don't force us to pay for DLC for the first one and then expect us to so quickly forget about that and then jump right into number 2, where it could be just as problematic or introduce new problems that weren't in the first one. Yeah. Yeah, I gave my thoughts on Nick 2 with the one stream that I did where I got to play it for free. But with MultiVersus, if they try doing a sequel, there's already gonna be some negative stigma around that because of the first one's legacy. So they're gonna have a lot of skepticism. It's gonna be very hard to get people on board with that. But that's an if. I don't know if they'll ever go back to that. Funny enough, I've heard some people joke that, hey, why not go back to Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion then? Make a PTE 2. Because at least with that was a full package and not a free-to-play mess. But also, PTE was not a great game. I talked about that in a video. Again, I have videos for all these freaking terrible Smash clone tailgater. That's the word that I like to use for it. I think I even used that in the PTE review. But with these tailgater Smash clones or Smash likes. But yeah, PTE also wasn't all that great, so I don't know if a PTE 2 would really get people on board. Yeah, I think they just really have to take a step back and realize, yeah, what we're doing is not working. This whole idea is just it's shit. We flew too close to the sun thinking that, hey, this is gonna be our next money printer, and they ended up getting all their fans to march after them with torches and pitchforks. So I say that, yeah, MultiVersus with its legacy, it should stay dead, as well as, stay dead along with the other failed Smash clones. Punch Time Explosion, again, I liked that as a concept, but it's not fun to play. I don't really have any hope for a PTE2, especially considering the shit that Cartoon Network pushed out after PTE. So I would not be interested in seeing a sequel roster. Nick All Stars, they tried, but they were clearly rushed with the first one. They didn't really have a substantial budget with the first one. Then with the second one, they thought they could fix things. They ended up making a lot of things worse and couldn't really fix a lot of those mistakes because, the game's not performing as well. Freaking Game Mill here is now giving the team a bunch of layoffs. Now they got a skeleton crew. So that's another one I say should stay dead. They tried and they failed. At the end of the day, it's just hard to make something if what you're going for is riding the coattail of something that is already successful. They went into this with the idea of, we're going to be Smash, but with these characters, or Smash, but with this crossover roster. If that's where the idea, if that's where it lives and dies, then I'm telling you right now, it's not going to live long, and it's going to die hard. This is why a lot of Tailgater Smash clones fail. And it's also why a lot of tribute Smash style games fail. Because even for some games that are just like, yeah, we like the concept of platform fighters like Smash Bros., we would like to make our own without it being, hey, it's Smash, but this is our attempt at a platform fighter. But again, it's just trying to live under something else's shadow, which it's not going to last. And it's also just fitting for Warner Brothers, because, man, Warner Brothers just keeps making such terrible decisions. I mean, even outside of MultiVersus, with things like the Task Force X game that came out last year. I would say the actual name, but I don't want this video to get demonetized. Things like the Batgirl movie being done, finished, and canceled, and forever lost for a tax write-off. And I already mentioned a bit of MK1. That's another game that I was asked about. I might as well quickly give some of my thoughts on MK1 and some of the controversies with that. Which a lot of the stuff that I'm more strong on is the latest DLC, Chaos Reigns. But even then, the game already was fighting an uphill battle with it being such a different style reboot for the franchise. And even with the core gameplay, like, I like the concept of it being having the cameo system. That was something that was also in MK11 in the towers. You could use certain abilities or augments. I'll just call them power-ups. You could use certain power-ups that gave you a character who you can call in to do a special move. And that was a lot of fun. And it was cool that they decided to expand on that with the sequel game. I don't know if it was smart to have that be the main way of playing. Maybe have that be something that's encouraged and highlighted. But what that does is it kind of gave the false sense that Mortal Kombat 1 would turn Mortal Kombat into a tag game, which it's not. It's still the same type of fighting game, but it has this extra mechanic. Wow, that is a loud frickin' engine. I'm trying not to use the big F. I hope I didn't, otherwise I'll have to listen back to this and censor every time I did that. All the cameo system does is basically give you a few more specials that you can use to help with things like combos, things like breakaways. But yeah, when people see how it's presented, it does give that look that it's a different type of fighting game, and that ends up alienating people. And that's, again, unfortunate, because that's not actually what it's like. So I say that that should have been an encouraged mode, and something that was focused on in the story mode, sure. But still have it so you have the regular 1v1. You don't have the cameos built into that, but again, the game was so focused on cameos and using them for gameplay, for things like super moves and fatalities, victory animations, that wasn't an option. Yeah. It's another thing where I feel like, because I say that if a game has more options, the better. With that, they kind of put themselves in a hole where they couldn't really have those options. All they could really do was stuff around the cameos. So, yeah, if they were to try and do a typical 1v1 gameplay mode that you can choose, it would just be a lot more work, because now they have to, okay, how are fatal blows going to work? Because those require a hit from the cameo fighter. And I think that's the biggest thing with that. But it's still something that is substantial enough to where it completely takes away that option. So what else with MK1? I know I already mentioned the overpriced DLC, which is a big problem with more than just Mortal Kombat 1. I know Street Fighter 6 also has that as a huge issue, especially with the World Tour DLC. I remember when the Ninja Turtles, there was the TMNT crossover. You could get Ninja Turtle outfits. It was $15 for just one turtle outfit. So if you wanted all four, you had to pay for a whole new copy of Street Fighter 6. But anyways, back to MK1 and some of the shite with that. The story mode. I'm just gonna say it now. The story mode. Initially, the first one is pretty cool. I thought it was pretty neat how they handled that. Kind of weird how, for some characters' chapters, you're playing as the lesser versions of them. You only play as Kung Lao when he doesn't have his razor hat. You're only playing as Kenshi before he gets Sento. Just really dumb decisions there. But overall, I thought the story was neat. Kind of cool how they were going for a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? I know what the word is. I just can't think of it right now. It's okay. I can't remember what it is right now. It'll come to me, but kind of a adaptation. That's what it is. An adaptation of some of the bits of Deadly Alliance and Armageddon. I think also Deception, but again, I'm not too knowledgeable on Deception. But yeah, that was really neat. Also cool kind of plot twist how it also revealed that both the good ending and bad ending of MK11 Aftermath were canon, and that's what the story ended up being, was the clash between the fire god Liu Kang and his new era squad versus Titan Shang Tsung and his new era squad. And yeah, I get it. It's, oh great, more multiverse shit. I'm someone who can enjoy multiverse stuff if it's done well. If it's done poorly, then I'm not going to enjoy it, which was the case with Chaos Reigns, but we're not there yet. One thing that I didn't really like about the story mode was you didn't really get to fight that many characters. I mean, looking back, I think you did get to fight all of the roster characters and Quan Chi and Ermac before they were actually in the game. But, instead they still had their models and were like, just give them Shang Tsung's MK11 moves and Noob Saibot's MK11 moves, and there you go. That's what you get if you that's gonna be their little teaser, because we're gonna hold them back for DLC. I heard that they actually were confirmed held back, which, yeah, no shit. Seeing how they're in the game, they're in the story mode, but they just don't have their movesets. But hey, they're coming as DLC, so you can buy them. But yeah, a lot of the fights in the story mode were just against the same people until we got to the multiverse shenanigans. Now we can throw in, oh, now you're fighting evil Liu Kang and evil Katana. You're fighting evil Kenshi. You're fighting, all that BS. Which only got good at the last chapter, but everything up to that, it was just, okay, how many times are we going to fight General Shao? How many times are we going to fight Rain? How many times are we going to fight... They just kept recycling the same character. Reiko, you fight a shit ton. Natara, freaking Megan Fox, great. We get to hear more of her terrible lines because they just had to hire Megan Fox for some reason. Man, they should just get Christina V back, because Christina V did all of Natara's grunts. To which I say, if you're gonna have her do that, you might as well also have her voice Natara. But no, we gotta have Megan Fox's voice and face. Yeah, I feel like later on they should do Christina V voicing all of Natara's lines, and have that be something that you can select, because that would be so much better. That's an actual freaking voice actress. Oh, another thing with story mode that's I noticed, which was kind of weird. I see why they did this, because otherwise they could very easily put them in a situation like they did with MK9. So many characters are, I feel, a bit too polite. Like, this is Mortal Kombat. I get that. Yeah, that doesn't the initial idea that everyone would get from that is, oh, these are all the characters who want to fight each other and brutally murder each other, but that's not the case. If you actually look at the lore, there are plenty of characters who are more noble and honorable. Take, for instance, Johnny Cage and MK9 when NRS first rebooted it. And he had the option to kill Baraka, and he flat out said, no, I don't want to kill anyone. So, yeah, that diversity is cool, but it's not present in MK1. Characters range from either cartoonishly evil asshole or polite hero. Polite Marvel hero. And it makes everyone feel samey. It makes the world feel alien. This is not the same Mortal Kombat. It kind of gets a pass because this is Liu Kang's new era. So, he himself is a humble monk. So, yeah, you can see that that's probably from his influence. But he's also someone who's spiteful enough to then rewrite the history of his enemies, so they're just low-life nobodies. Like, Shang Tsung is a freaking snake oil salesman. Quan Chi spends his days working in the mines. General Shao is just nothing compared to what he was before as Shao Kahn. Yeah. But I mean, it's just, again, it feels like it lost personality with that. There's not enough diversity. And I can see that they also did that with the first one because they were afraid that if they did try something else, then that could lead to even more bloodshed and characters being killed, and all of a sudden, oh, we just killed all of our characters like we did in MK9 with the Sindel massacre. Yeah, we just ruined a ton of characters now. We ruined our chances at, oops. That's gonna reflect on the story and the rosters from now on. So they want to, I guess, play it safe with this first new era game. But I don't know. Part of me wants to see what would happen with more of these characters in a new game. Part of me wants to see a different world. Like maybe the next game will focus on another character's new era. Like how, obviously this is Liu Kang's new era with MK1. And we got to see more of Kano's new era in the animated movie Snowblind. I guess that's a bit of a spoiler. Sorry. So who knows? Maybe with the next game we could see Noob Saibot's frickin' new era where he's the big bad of the game. He's death, and he has various characters who are loyal to him various characters who are scared to challenge him, and then some that rise up and get that confidence to challenge him. That could be pretty cool. And you have a bunch of characters who are kind of related to him. You have characters like you could have a roster with characters like Scorpion, obviously Scorpion, but then also some ones that don't always get the time of day. Some like Quan Chi, Serena as an actual playable character. You could get some more of the Lin Kuei, which they already have all the ninjas in MK1, so that's not really a good example. Jax's new era with his awful MK11 ending. It's just every black Mortal Kombat character, and that's it. Jackie's new era game, where it's everyone except Jackie. It's Armageddon, but the only character that is missing is Jackie. Okay, now I'm not selling this idea, but I I hope you get the point from what I was trying to mention before. Like if instead of Kano's new era being used for Snowblind, it was a game, and you had all the characters there in the roster, so you have a roster with a ton of Black Dragon characters, and a ton of characters who fit that Mad Max style environment, like Ferritor and Aaron Black. You have Shang Tsung, you have Kenshi and the super cool older Sub-Zero and Scorpion, but no sign of some of the characters who were some of Kano's older adversaries, like potentially because in this part of his new era he had already defeated them. No more Jax, no more Sonya, no more Liu Kang. Because I remember that there in the movie there was that statue of Liu Kang, but no sight of Liu Kang himself. Like that could be cool and introduce some really diverse rosters. Introduce an opportunity to tell very different stories. I see why it wouldn't fit for a game though, because you get some people who are like, no man, this is too different. There are still some characters who we want to see each time. Like, what if this was a game that had no Liu Kang? That could easily alienate people. So yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like that would be better for spin-offs. MK. What NetherRealm would for like 10 years, I think. About 10 years. They had a period where it would be, okay, here's an MK game, here's an Injustice game. Because yeah, it was MK9, then you get Injustice Gods Among Us. After that, their next game was MKX. After that, they had Injustice 2. Then after that, they had MK11. And each one you see was taking things from its previous game and then building upon that and doing their own things that would then be taken by their succeeding game. And that was cool. That was also something to give a bit of breathing room. But with this, it went from MK11 right to MK1, and there was no room to breathe. And it was trying a bunch of new stuff that just didn't really pay off. So I feel like it would have been a bit more beneficial to do a spin-off, whether that was Injustice 3 or if it was, hey, this new Mortal Kombat game is not main series, it is a spin-off. Still a fighting game, but it's doing something different with the roster. But again, that's a risk. But I mean, seeing what they did with MK1, that was also a risk. And in some ways it did pay off, in other ways it didn't. So I don't know. It's when you really break it down like that, it's it's hard to really say, yeah, they should have done this or they should have done that. But that's about all I had to say for the base game. Chaos Reigns, the story expansion where you have to buy the whole bundle for like $50. I'm pretty sure it's $50, which is insane. So you can get 6 more characters and a story mode. So you're saying that this bundle is just $10 removed of if you were to buy another copy of MK1. Where with that, you have all the modes that are already there. You have a shit ton more characters. You have a story mode. So you're saying that this one where all you get is a story mode expansion and 6 characters, that is worth just $10 less? No, that is overpriced garbage. Especially with the contents of it. The characters are overall fine. Not sure why they felt the need to gender bend Cyrax and Sector and turn them into bootleg Iron Men. I guess in this case, Iron Women. Noob Saibot's cool. Don't know why he has this goofy hat though. I'm pretty sure you can change that though. But maybe you should have changed what the default is so people would not have something shitty to look at before he actually released. Or if you were to just select him by default. I don't know. That's an idea. Maybe you should have gone with that. And the DLC characters, or the DLC characters, the guest characters. I'm pretty sure there's at least some people who want to hear my thoughts on this, considering I made a guest characters video for MK1 back when it first came out. In which it seemed like what they were going for with the characters they chose was going back on some past ideas, like horror with Ghostface, 80s action hero with Conan, and 80s action villain with the T-1000. But also the lineup is just kind of weird. Ghostface was the coolest one, even though other people disagree because it's just a kid with a knife. Ooh, you're going up against gods, dude. What are you doing? Get the hell out of here. But yeah, guest characters are not canon. They're just here for fun, just to see, hey, what would it be like if this character was in a fighting game? And even then, they could do a lot of fun crafting stuff with these characters, even with a character like Ghostface, because of the whole idea of it being a masked killer who is actually multiple killers working together, unless the movie has to get heavily rewritten because of Columbine. Did I say Columbine? Because of Columbo. I always I always find myself switching between Columbine and Columbine. I should stop talking about this because it's off topic. But yeah, because of that, they got to do something really cool with Ghostface. Have him be 3 Ghostface killers in one, and it actually being freaking Billy Loomis teaming up with Cobra and Kira from the Black Dragon, which is awesome. And you even get his Skeet Ulrich's likeness whenever you do a fatal blow or fatality on him. That's a really awesome Easter egg. But yeah, the other 2 guest characters were ones that were the ones that I saw as more of a head scratcher. We're doing another Arnold Schwarzenegger character again. Okay, and it's Conan the Barbarian, just buff sword dude. Okay. At least that gives us a Arnie character in which they won't sound like they're just speaking monotone because, oh yeah, that's right. Even though the the T800 is a more recognizable uh, Arnie role. He's a robot who always talks like a robot, so even if we get a voice impersonator or impressionist, it's gonna sound like shit. But yeah, I don't know. I hear Conan is fine though. Some people do find him fun. I have not played with him though. And then T1000 is coming out. I don't see why we felt the need to do Terminator again, but we're doing the T1000 this time. I mean, he's got a lot of potential being liquid metal, but who was asking for this? Apparently, there were a few commenters on my MK1 guest characters video. A lot who said Ghostface, which I see why. But actually, like a small amount, but still enough to make me be like, huh, I guess there actually were people asking for these characters who said Conan and the T1000. So that was fun to look back on. But I don't know, I think it's a bit of a weird guest lineup. The first guest pack or DLC pack lineup was also a bit strange, but only because you had two dickhead Supermen. When it's like, okay, they should have probably just gone with either Omni-Man or Homelander, not both, but whatever. But overall, I mean, they're fine. Again, they seem like they could still do a lot of fun stuff with them. They have shown that they could do some fun stuff with them, so the characters are overall fine. Nothing really bad with that or problematic with that. But the story mode, that's where things change. The Chaos Reign story mode is absolute garbage and has me worried for what they decide to do next with an MK story mode. Whether that is with this new era or not. So this was just building off of Liu Kang's new era and where we left off with the base game story mode of MK1. And yeah, what we ended up getting was frickin' Lin Kuei shenanigans, followed by, oh look, now we're doing the multiverse again. I mean, it was already pretty shoehorned in with the first one, but they still managed to do some fun stuff with that, with especially with the last chapter and all the chaotic fights that were there. Remember what I said there? How there were chaotic fights in the last chapter of the base game story mode, because I'll come back to that. But now we're doing it again because we just wanted to have a proper Havoc for some reason. Yeah, I didn't find the Chaos Reign story mode to be good at all. Like, you have frickin'... Even with the first chapter, and you have Scorpion reveal that, oh yeah, Sub-Zero is actually the frickin' asshole here. Reveal that he sided with the villains during the first game story mode, and how he assassinated his own father. And then Sub-Zero follows that up. Follows these accusations that are just words with, yeah, no, he's telling the truth. I'm an asshole. Dude, you have the leverage. You have Cyrax on your side. You could have just lied. But no, just give yourself the L there. Way to go, big brain. Maybe he'll get smarter later on. What does he do later on? He jumps into a portal alone, where he is very clearly outnumbered, and then gets turned into Noob Saibot. Big brain. Unless his plan was to be turned into Noob Saibot, that was just shoehorned writing at its finest. Yeah, got freaking chaos. You got Titan Havoc here, going all, oh yes, I was there when you were fighting Titan Shang Tsung, and now I'm here for him. Points to Geras, who was doing nothing this entire time. I don't even think he was present before before he was pointed to. And then suddenly Geras is just there in the scene, looking around like, what, me? So then, yeah, the game turns into take the Lin Kuei characters into Havoc's Chaos timeline. I'd call it Chaos Realm, but it is not Chaos Realm. It is not Chaos at all. It's just Havoc's new era. Have them go there and meet some other dickheads. Just for the sake of having more characters to play as. Because now your mission is to retrieve Geras for some reason. So yeah, then the game just turned into you're stuck in Havoc's dungeons, fighting all of his mohawked variants of all the roster characters. And it's very dull. How many times did they have matches where you fought a character and then they had one character as their cameo, and then the next fight after that was the same two characters, but now the character who was the cameo is the leading fighter, and the character who was the leading fighter is now the cameo. They did not know what the hell they were doing when structuring the fights in the story mode, or the plot points of the story mode. But we got World War II Johnny Cage, just so he can get in like a small handful of quips, and then just be there and be forgotten about, just blend into the background. This was totally worth our time. So glad they decided to force this into the story mode for some reason. Yeah, and then finally you're out of there, and you get one last chapter where you're playing as Noob Saibot, taking everyone down, and he has to constantly turn back to his cameo fight and be like, if you get in my way, I'm gonna kill you. Do not get in my way. Just shove them out of the way. Only intervene if I tell you to. Like, dude, we get it. They were already your cameo fighter. You don't need to then in the next cutscene push them away and say, get the hell out of here. This is my chapter, bitch. Yeah, again, it goes back to the whole comical douchebag. He's comically evil. And it all leads up to what? Mr. Chaos having this plan of getting the Kami Dogu to power him up like the Infinity Stones, just so he can take over realms and shit. This is not Havoc. Havoc is supposed to be a character all about chaos. He does things with plans. He has all of his minions wearing uniforms. All he does is he wants to conquer realms and see people fight in a coliseum and dungeon. This is not Havoc. This is Shao Kahn. And a very shitty Shao Kahn at that. Yeah, I didn't find this to be chaotic at all for a story mode called Chaos Reigns. It was, actually very formulaic and boring. What was chaotic was the last chapter of, the the MK1's I can't think of words right now. Base game MK1 story mode. Like, that was awesome. And seeing how many mixture fighters there were. How you had things like Quan Zero. You had Clockadile, which was a mix of Gearus and Reptile. That's fun. That's cool. They even had some other cool stuff. Like, you could fight against Female Scorpion. There was Cyber Smoke. That shit was cool. That was chaotic. That was anything but expected. And that's like, okay, you are doing the multiverse well with that. Just going insane with it for this freaking gauntlet chapter where you're just fighting weirdo character after weirdo character. That was awesome. That was chaos. That was Chaos Reigns. Even though, yeah, if you then go back, you're like, okay, a lot of these characters are just one character, but with recolors or retextures based on another character. But for a first-time experience, it is cool. And even going back, you see some new stuff in there that you didn't see the first time. And it's like, hey, yeah, this is cool. They made a lot of stuff for this. And it's just a huge load of fun. Chaos Reigns was a load of nothing. It was just it was more of a freaking Saturday morning cartoon adventure than it was an actual worthwhile story mode plot. And it has me worried for what else they could do with Mortal Kombat. At least before they had other things to adapt. MK9 was adapting the first 3 Mortal Kombats. MKX had a bit of MK4 being adapted. MK11 did its own thing with time travel and whatnot. It was at least enjoyable. It's obviously had its flaws, as anything with time travel will, but MK11 and Aftermath were still fun to experience. But then they tried doing another thing where it was, now we're just doing our own ideas here. And it flopped. Their own original ideas suck. And yeah, there were some things being adapted, like Scorpion's wedding, him being married to Harumi, conflicts between the Shirai Ryu and the Lin Kuei, stuff with the Kami Dogu, stuff with Havoc, but it still overall was primarily its own original story mode, and it flopped. It had no direction, it had no stakes, it had no chaos. For something called Chaos Reigns, for something focused where the main antagonist is the guy who's all about chaos, it had no chaos. It was just, it felt more like an invasions mode plot, but with a budget that should not have been allocated to it. So now what? If we get more stuff from Liu Kang's timeline, is it gonna be more stuff like this where it's just discount Marvel MCU movie type shit? Is it gonna be... And I know a lot of people also say that about all of the NRS MK story modes, which, yeah, I see that. I get it. You're not wrong. But it really, really shows its face here with Chaos Reigns. It's kind of like saying that Chaos Reigns is the Phase 4, right? That's when MCU really started getting bad. The Phase 4 MCU of Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Like that's another thing that makes me say that maybe they should go with a reboot there. Like, yeah, they just did a reboot here. Maybe they should do it again, because if that's what we can expect for more story modes, that's not a good thing. That is not something to look forward to. Yeah, man, Warner Bros. With its games recently, they just have to get they gotta get their shit together, man. They are just they're not thinking when it comes to this shit, and instead it's resulting in stuff that's not listening to the fans and pumping out stuff that's lackluster and overpriced. I feel like the company really needs to take a step back. They need to see that this is pissing people off. People are getting fed up with this, and it's only a matter of time before this really impacts them financially. More people will decide to, hey, let's start voting with our wallet and saying, we are not gonna take this shit. We want some more thoughtful stuff. We want stuff that has actual effort. We want stuff that's not designed as cheap stuff to throw out there and bleed us dry of every last dime we have. It's less of an issue with MK1, but yeah, that is an issue there. Again, I have mentioned how it has overpriced shit. MultiVersus was definitely more of a problem with that. But yeah, the thing is, again, Warner Bros. Has these cool ideas, these cool properties, these cool games. And obviously, we as the fans, we want these to be good. We want these to be successful. Things that we do want to buy and engage with. But the more Warner Bros. Sees walking wallets, the more they're going to end up pushing their fans away. It's going to make us all super skeptical for anything they decide to do in the future with these properties. And again, it's sad to say, we don't want to be hard on this shit. Again, back to Mortal Kombat, a thing that you hear often is that it gets a lot of hate, and that oftentimes a lot of those haters are some of the biggest fans of MK. And I mean, yeah, that's unfortunately that is pretty true. And again, I don't think anyone wants to go into something to hate it. People would rather have more things that they like than they hate. It's just that when there are things that are doing these crappy practices, it's hard to defend. And oftentimes it's met with a lot more aggression than it is constructive criticism. But I mean, seeing how bad some of this shit got, I don't know, maybe the aggression is the only way to have those voices heard. But then again, maybe not, because then it's always, Oh, those are just the haters. Oh man, these fans always complaining. But I mean, again, if actual effort is put in and actual consideration for the consumer, then you would see a whole lot less complaining, a whole lot more positivity, and I bet also a whole lot more profit. But the more they try and force more profit to come out, the less they're going to see. And instead, in its place is going to be a lot of backlash. I think that's about all I can say about that. This ended up being quite the long recording. Let me see. Yeah, about 2 hours recording this. Pretty much an hour for MultiVersus, an hour for MK1. So I might end up splitting this up. Maybe. And then, yeah, if you guys do want some more of these kind of just talking to the mic style videos, just sit here, talk about my thoughts on some stuff. I was considering talking about stuff like Nintendo's crappy ports with things like Donkey Kong Country Returns HD specifically, because that's a recent port of theirs with some problems, for lack of a better word. Also Nintendo related, I could talk about the Switch 2 and some thoughts on what to expect, what I hope they'll do with that. So I don't know if you guys want to see some more stuff like this, or I guess hear some more stuff like this. Let me know in the comments. Let me know some possible topics you'd like me to talk about. And yeah, till then, that's about it for this.